Countless practices and tools have been devoted to voluntarily connecting with the spirit world. But what happens when we are forced to meet these spirits beyond the veil? Several people who have had a near-death experience awaken with their channeling and healing gifts ignited.
There's a wonderful book by David Fontana that talks about the various messages that mediums have given about what actually happens after we die. And there's often talk about different levels, and we see this in multiple different religions as well, that perhaps when we first pass, there is this transitional zone where there is a life review, there's some sort of integration that happens, incorporating learnings from our earthly existence. And then when that stage is complete, there is a shift to a different dimension or level or whatever you want to call it that is less dense, that is not as connected to the earthly world. And we see this message over and over again from mediums, from multiple different religious and spiritual traditions. I guess we just need to wait and see when it happens to us, the reality of it.
I had a near-death experience in March of 1969. I had pulmonary embolus. Both of my lungs were full of fluid and I could not breathe. I felt as if I had an elephant sitting on my chest. And I was in intensive care, and my family was being prepared that I probably wouldn't live through the day.
At 26, while I was in architecture school, I got sick on Super Bowl Sunday. I went blind first, and within 11 days, I was dead.
In my late 20s, I was in the jungle in Belize, and the shaman there was doing this ritual with these herbs and having me look into the smoke, and he said to me, "You're gonna die soon." And then when I came back from Belize, I was laying in my room, and there was a spirit standing in front of me, and it's like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yes," and it like reached into my body, and I felt excruciating pain. I could feel all of my organs shutting down one by one. It was like almost like my body was this organic spirit, and the spirits were flying out of my body. Like I could feel things just turning off, and the pain of it was so excruciating. And I remember my human side came in, and my human side was, "I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die." And I could hear me screaming in my head.
And I watched spirits come in. There was my father's secretary, Kate, who had passed. There was my Uncle Wally and Daryl. And there were angels in the room. And I've always been connected with angels. So they were just like, "Hi, everybody, how are you doing?" And I felt such peace. It was amazing. I wasn't afraid. I knew I was going to die, and that was fine.
I was totally aware of what was happening, and I had just had a new baby, and I wanted to stay on the planet. I had 2 little kids at home, and I kept saying, "Hey, God, give me a job. I'll do anything. I want to stay here." And that became a mantra. I just kept repeating that in my mind.
And I remember going up into a beautiful tunnel, and there were other beings of light. That's the only way you can describe them. They were in humanoid form, but they were made of light and electricity and particle colors, and it was stunningly beautiful.
I was in the cubicle of intensive care, and it became extremely bright, as if the sun had risen in the room itself.
The room just kind of all went like very bright and liquidy, and my ancestors were there, and they said to me, "You're about to transition from this dimension to another dimension. It's gonna be very painful in your body if you keep trying to fight to hold on. Let go when it happens." And
in my inner mind hearing, like we hear our own thoughts, I heard a distinct male voice say, "Remember, my child, you are loved."